how do you find those feedback sessions with your leadership into product space? Yeah, so that would be really good to know.
So I report into the director of mobile product, Layla, in California. Is she in California? No, she's in Washington. She's in Seattle. And, we have regular catch-ups. We're on kind of Slack constantly. And it's one of these things. I'm actually going to meet her next week for the first time. We've been working together a year, and I'm really looking forward to meeting her and the rest of the senior product team for mobile. It really looking forward to kind of making those kind of real life connections.
Yeah. And also you're traveling to States as well, and that's
yes.
Are you traveling to Washington?
No, we're heading to the San Francisco office because the Workday headquarters is in Pleasanton, so it's a commute away. So I can meet a lot of the partner teams that I work with on a regular basis as well. So I want to make the most of my time there because traveling in the new climate that we are in is a privilege. Yeah. So I have to absolutely maximize it when I'm there. Also as well, when you work asynchronously with teams, it can be difficult to make that real connection with them. So, I have to take every opportunity I can to, be present and, get kind of, a real person as opposed to an avatar on Slack that they occasionally
definitely, Jen. So even technology cannot replace the in-person interaction and that emotional EQ aspect of it. Raul, I learned EQ from Raul, and I still have Raul's book with me, and I keep going back to it again and again on how can I be a better emotionally intelligent human being, and it matters so much. And I think that made it a lot easier for us to work virtually when COVID happened, because I did get a whole mobile team I got an opportunity to go to States and meet the colleagues. So it just made our when we went virtually, the whole experience really nice and comfortable. We knew each other's aura, personalities, and so it does matter.
And I think you're kind of touching on something that's really important in the product role as well, and one that maybe people don't pick up until, unfortunately, later in their careers. And it's what I was saying to you about being a good product person in your own environment is great, but it's not enough to kind of move on. You have to be someone who can be empathetic with the demands from other teams. It's something kind of like that I've kind of learned the hard way as well. In my early 20s, I was probably a very mouthy, very defensive of my own team. Anyone who wanted something from us that was out of my plan, it was a big inconvenience, all this kind of stuff, because I had my team's back. But then kind of like as I've got older, I kind of realized that, you know what, everyone I work with is at least as good as me. Most of them are usually better. And when they come to me, they have a problem. And I'm in a privileged position where I can maybe help them. And, that's a good thing because that establishes a relationship. It's not an inconvenience. We can work on a solution together. It's an opportunity. And it took me a long time to kind of realize this. The other thing that I kind of learned in my career as well was, when you kind of look at a system and it's not a system you have built up, you see a lot of problems in it. And your immediate assumption is, well, whoever did this is not as good as me because I would never have done that.
Right.
People make the best decisions they can with the information they have at the time.
True.
It is, especially when you work in kind of companies like Workday, where the standard of the people we have here are just excellent, Even if you see something and you think, well, I wonder how that happened, it will have been for the best of reasons. And at the time, it will have been the right decision to make.
Yeah.
And I think sometimes, that's kind of a perspective I have to bring to my team is like, hey guys, there's a totally capable team out there who made this call. I'm going to assume they had a good reason for making the call. And it wasn't to annoy you in 2 years' time. It was because they were solving a problem at that time. And it's had unforeseen circumstances.
Right.
So demonizing, it's not healthy. It's not a healthy discussion.
Not healthy.
Yeah.
And it's a great message for everyone who is gonna listen to this conversation, because I'm sorry, I need to confess this, because I can do it as well in my role.
I've done this, yeah.
Yeah. So it's a very good learning and a message for me too, that scenarios and situations had been different back then, and now we know more than we knew before. So yeah, not to undermine the work that's been done before.
Yeah.
Okay,
and I think that's true about other people's perspectives as well. A company I previously worked with before Workday, we were a very sales-focused company, which really aggravated the development area, because the sales guys would be like, hey, we've got this new contract, it's dead exciting, we need all this new stuff, and the dev team would be like, we're not finished building the other stuff you asked for, and you've signed it, you've got it timed out, and the sales guys would have been like, we've worked really hard to get this.
Right.
This is really important for the company.
Yeah.
And development weren't feeling that excitement. Now, don't get me wrong, I understand why development weren't feeling that excitement. That was like getting your roadmap ripped up every time a big contract gets done is absolutely, really difficult to deal with.
Yeah.
But understanding those perspectives, so often there's not a right answer and a wrong answer. There's just different shades of right answers.
Right.
And finding the one we can, like the one that makes sometimes the least amount of people unhappy, is the one you have to go for,
True. That's the one we have to go for. That's true.
Yeah,
it's unfortunate, but it is what it is.
It is what it is. And I think that emotional intelligence part of the product role is so important. A previous boss used to refer to product as the translators in chief of a company, that they would translate business issues and they would also translate the development issues to either party so that both perspectives were understood. And it kind of meant you were almost felt, I think the phrase I used was, I almost sometimes felt a bit wishy-washy, that I wasn't able to kind of articulate kind of a clear point of view, because I had so many different points of view that I was having to take into account and having to kind of rationalize into the least worst decision sometimes.
Right.
But that in itself is a power. I struggled with it a lot in my 30s, because it was, I'm quite a determined person. I don't like kind of faffing around and, being unorganized and things like that. So this kind of took me a bit of learning to kind of appreciate how I rolled up all these perspectives and paid them all the due they needed to be paid and presented them to everyone, and let other people kind of be part of that decision-making process. When I kind of, earlier on in my career would have felt, we'll just do it this way. So emotional intelligence, I think, is definitely a superpower in product, that if you can do that early on, you are bound for leadership roles later down the road. People like me who take it a little bit at a time to learn those lessons the hard way, we learn them the hard way, and our progress is kind of slower because of it. But sometimes lessons hard earned kind of stick with you.
Right.